If you don't have it already, go ahead and pause this video if you don't have scissors and if you don't have glue. So I don't want to see anything protruding out of your notebook. I don't want to see a hot mess going on or a tornado, okay? This is an already made notebook that I did. And as you notice, nothing sticks out of the side. Nothing sticks out of the top or the bottom, okay? It all fits in here. Did I have to cut it to make it fit? Absolutely. So this first page isn't going to fit on a regular piece of notebook paper. See how big that is? You have to cut it out to make it fit. Okay? I had to cut a little bit of the design off of the edge. Not too much, but a little bit. And I want you guys to focus on cutting stuff out before you color anything. We're not going to cut it and then color it. No, we need it all placed in the notebook. And if you have extra time, which you should because you have 2 45-minute blocks to complete this week. Okay, so after I cut it, it fits on there perfectly. We don't want anything sticking out. So your very first page simply just goes on. So this is my notebook. This is my very first page. All right. The second page on the back, because we do want to use the front and the back of every page, this will be a table of contents. And you will see a place for a link in your HyperDocs to show you exactly what to write in your table of contents, okay? But we're just writing in a table of contents. You will notice that I do put numbers on every single page. So page 1, where your title was, has the number 1 on it. Okay, table of contents is page 2. Your power words, which are vocabulary words, are page 3. Okay, every page has a number. Your power words, there are a lot of them. It's for your vocabulary for the entire unit. They do all fit on one page, and I hand wrote. Okay, you just have to get a little creative, and you have to write a little bit smaller. If your power words are going to take 2 pages, then on your table of contents, you need to put under power words page 3 and page 4. Okay, so your pages will be different then. So I recommend just leaving this page blank before you write down all the page numbers, because then you'll have to go back and erase it all. Okay? So just write table of contents at the top and then go in and fill the rest in after you make it. Okay? Your second page are your power words. Okay? They come like this. Words, you'll notice there are these flaps. Okay? This flap is the only part that you're going to glue down. Okay, you should be able to lift everything up. Okay, for instance, and we're going to do it together, I'm going to cut out one of these words. Up at the top, I actually had one word all the way up at the very top, and I have power words right here, and that's just because I wanted them all to fit on the page, and I wasn't sure that they would, but they do. So I'm going to put Nomad all the way up here at the top. It doesn't matter exactly where you place all the words, just that they get on the page. Okay, and if I were gluing things, I would only glue down this thick line right here. Okay, this rectangle right here, because I want to be able to flip up the word to reveal the definition. Okay, so I'm going to put this word right there in the middle of my page here, and I'm taking a piece of tape because again I don't have glue. And I am simply taping it right there, okay? I can still flip it up. See that? It still flips up and it's taped down. So yours will be glued right here, but you can still flip it up. Do not glue these straight to the page or else it won't have the effect where you can just flip it up and see the definition, okay? Flip it up and see the definition. Flip it up, oh, that's the definition of empire, okay? Notice that some of the definitions are gonna be outside of the little rectangle, okay? That's okay. So your next page, page 4, which when it's done will look something like this. This gets completely taped down, this or glued down, this gets completely glued down, and this gets completely glued down, as well as your little compass here. Okay, but this is a flap. Anything that has this rectangle right here, okay, that's how you know it is a flap. If it doesn't, like this doesn't have one of those, it gets glued completely down. Okay, you're going to be doing a map. Your map gets completely down. Notice your map has a key. Okay, all right, everything on your map, and this map is in the book, and you'll just be copying it from the book. Okay, but important to note, this page 4 comes from different pages. Okay, so you use this page, and then you use some of this page. Okay, we don't use everything from this page. We do use everything from this page. Okay, so first I am going to take the page that says events timeline at the top. I am going to keep where it says events timeline, and I'm gonna set that aside because I need it later. Okay, I need this later for a different page. However, I do not need this. This is scraps. We will just throw this away. Okay, but I do want these pages, or these down at the bottom. Okay, glue down completely. Where it says Mesopotamia, I just put it at the very top and I glue it down. Okay. Okay, so this will go underneath it, but on this page we have something that says Mesopotamia was between the two rivers, Tigris and Euphrates. Okay, so this actually gets cut out of this page, and this gets completely glued down. Okay, so remember, we're taking from both of those pages. So Mesopotamia was between the two rivers, Tigris and Euphrates, and we tape this completely down, or glue it down in your case. Okay, so this also gets glued completely down. Okay, so your first 3 things, this come from different pages, 2 different pages. Your first 3 things get completely glued down. Okay. Next, we are going to place your compass. Set up my compass and completely taped down. Okay, we don't need this as a flap. Notice that I can tell this is a flap because of this rectangle right here. Okay, here, so that's sticky. Okay, and that is now taped down, and it's a flap. I can write underneath it in complete sentences. See? Okay, it's a flap. All right, it says, what does fertile mean? What does fertile mean? I'm gonna cut it out, and this gets glued completely down. Questions, what is a nomad? We have a power word, so that should answer that. And how did Mesopotamia change the nomadic way of life? We answer that in a different place. Okay, so I'm not using those for this page. So I'm putting it right there. Okay, glued completely down. Next is your map. Next, I'm gonna put my map on. Again, it gets completely glued down. Okay, my map is on. All right, this is what it looks like. So this is what your page should look like. Your next page, page 5, comes from this page with a ziggurat. Okay. So what we're going to put first is the invention of the wheel. How did that change society? Notice that I have this little flap right here, so don't glue this completely down. See that right here? Okay, so that goes just right here on top of that, and then it's a flap. We're gonna put this bubble that says, what was the Sumerians' economy like? Okay, this is also going to be a flap. Okay, this is also going to be a flap. All right, so when I put it down, I can just lift it right up and right underneath of it. On mine it is a lot more even, okay? Just showing you where to place things. All right, and right underneath it, kind of like right here, we're going to glue down this one. Again, this is a flap. Okay, everything except for one thing on this page is going to be a flap. And I know it's a flap because it shows me. Okay, and it's right here. When I lift it up, I can write underneath it. Okay, next comes this big picture of a ziggurat. Okay, okay, it's going to be a flap, so I'm not gluing it all the way down. So when I open it, I can write all of the lovely information down. Okay, my last thing, what were the most prominent buildings in the cities called? Again, they're called a ziggurat, but this is going to go straight down here, glue it all the way down. Okay, and this is page 5, and I would mark that, and I would put page 5 right down here in the corner. Okay. Right, on page 6, this is what it's going to look like. We use one page to do this. We use the page that says cuneiform. I want to note that this piece should be cut out as one rectangle, okay? Don't cut it out individually. This piece gets cut out into one rectangle. All right, so I have my two pieces and I'm ready to place. But we're gonna do something a little crazy. We want to make 3 flaps out of our one rectangle, okay? Put your scissors down and watch what I do. Okay, so you're gonna cut. We're gonna cut, we're gonna keep cutting, we cut, we cut, we cut, and we stop. We stop once we get to this line, okay? Once we get to this line, we stop. So if I lift this up, it could become a flap. And we're gonna do that right here. So we cut, we cut, we cut, we cut. And now I have flaps, okay? So we're gonna place. This is just gonna go nice and at the top of your page. Remember, we don't wanna glue this completely down. You only wanna glue about this much right in here. This portion right in here, okay? I have flaps. So when I lift it up, I have 3 different flaps that allow me to answer these questions in their own flap, okay? I get to answer these questions in their own flap. This has no indication, there's no oval, there's no anything that tells me it's a flap. Therefore, I'm gonna glue it all the way down, okay? This is gonna get glued completely down. It's not a flap. And this is your page 6, and you're going to want to indicate that by writing the number 6. Alright, so now we have page 7, and page 7 is really quite simple. There's not a lot of cutting involved. I'm going to cut this one out with you, and I just kind of did this motion. It doesn't have to be that fancy, so you don't need to make it fancy. Okay, just keep in mind that it does need to fit. Alright. This fit, you do need to come against these lines and cut to the line. Okay, get glued completely down. Okay, and then what I did, because I didn't want to write Sumerian hierarchy, so what I did was I cut this out. This gets glued completely down, and this I just put right up at the top of the page, and this gets completely glued down. Okay, so they both get completely glued down, so they're not flaps. They have lines that you will write your hierarchy answers on. Okay, so all right, so your next page, page 8, is going to use parts from 2 different pages. The one that looks like this, it says the Code of Hammurabi, and this one that says influential individuals. okay? We need Gilgamesh down here, okay? So don't throw him away, but we're focusing up here, okay? So you need him, so cut him out. Right, now that he's cut out, I'm gonna set Gilgamesh to the side because I need him later, okay? But I have him cut out. Now you need to cut out all of these later. So the only one that we don't need is this last one, actually. So I'm going to just cut out these 1, 2, 3, 4 as a block. This is all we are going to need. Okay, so we need this and we need these. These we will not be using at all, so you can pitch them. Okay, so once you cut out all of these individually and you're ready to place them, go ahead and restart the video. So he is my only flap. There's a little rectangle, oval, okay? So he's gonna go right here, kind of in the middle. All right, and so when I lift him up, I can write all about him. You can write all about him, and you'll notice on mine, there is quite a bit of information that you're gonna be writing down about him, okay? And this is all gonna come from a PowerPoint, but we'll get to that later. All right, so he's a flap. Everything else gets glued completely down, all right? So the one that comes right after asks about the laws. So the code was a collection of how many laws, okay? And that gets glued completely down right here, okay? Describe his codes comes next. And you're gonna wanna leave a little bit of space for yourself to describe his codes right here. So when it says, how do they affect society, I'm gonna leave a little bit of space, okay? And I'm gonna glue that completely down. So I have all of this space right here to write about how his codes were, all right? And then what do the codes say about him as a leader, okay? I want to leave enough space, because I wrote like 3 sentences for this one right here, okay? So I got all this space right here, and then this was about a sentence long. So all of these get glued completely down. They are just question prompts, okay? And they're bigger, so that way when you're taking a test or a quiz, you can easily find that answer, all right? So this is our only flap. Everything else gets completely glued down in that particular order. All right, page 9 is talking all about Gilgamesh, and I didn't throw him away because I need him now. So you need him, and then you need this page that is all about Gilgamesh, okay? We aren't going to be using this because we already have this right here. It's the same thing. So you can cut that off. And you can completely just throw that away. So I have this piece from my other page, and then I have this big rectangle, okay? This big rectangle, you cut out completely as a rectangle. I don't want this big piece in the middle though. I want all this information so I don't have to write it down. So I'm cutting it right here. Okay, so then I just have this piece that talks about the epics that he wrote. So this big box right here, this is scraps, okay? We're throwing it away. But I am keeping this part right here that asks the question, do you think he was real? Why or why not? Okay, I'm keeping that. And I'm gonna cut Gilgamesh all the way out. Okay, now I have all my 3 pieces. Okay, my only flap here. So, and I know it's a flap because of right here. So I am going to get him put in right here. So that way when I lift it up, see it's all the way down, but when I lift it up, it's a flap. And I can write all about Gilgamesh right there. And you do write a fair amount of information down about Gilgamesh, I'll be honest, okay? And then the Epic of Gilgamesh, there's no indication that this is a flap. It literally is just giving you tons of information that you're gonna need, okay? This gets glued completely down, all right? Was he real? Why or why not? This also gets written or glued completely down, all right? All right? But you notice that there is quite a bit of information written down about Gilgamesh, okay? So that's page 9. Page 10 is all about the event's timeline. So this little piece right here that we didn't throw away, this I had you throw away because I don't think it's necessary. It's just an extra step for you guys to have. If you wanted to keep it and put it down, that's perfectly fine. However, it's not something that you actually need. And this is the only little piece of paper that actually gets glued down, cut and it glued down. Okay. So it says events timeline. So this is your page 10. You would write page 10 down. Okay. So you have your page 10. All right. And that is the last of the parts that need to be cut and pasted. If you accidentally threw this part away, literally just write events timeline at the top. Okay. But that's how your notebook should look. So you should have 10 pages here in your notebook, front to back. Okay, there should be stuff on every page. So that way we conserve pages. Okay, notice you got tons of flaps going on here. Power words should fit on one page. We have our table of contents, and we have our first page.